Hello and welcome to Elizabeth's Craft Room. Now, I love it when we have a stamp set that has a matching punch. It makes life so easy to make really pretty cards. Here's one I've made using this stamp set, and the little fronds, you know where these are from if you've been watching my videos. These are from a beautiful die set, the Christmas Pines ones, so that's where those have come from. And I thought I would show you, but I thought I would show you today a shaker card that's made using this Belle stamp set, but we're going to do it in a different colourway. We're going to do it in a non-traditional Christmas colour, which is, it couldn't get less traditional Christmas than Melon Mambo. So let's get started. Okay, so the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp one of my Belle images here onto a piece of the Silver Glimmer paper, and I wanted to stamp that first because I want that to be just drying, because it takes a moment on that glimmer paper for that to dry. So I'll just go ahead and let that dry while we're doing our next piece. Now this is where my my bells are going to be situated. So the first thing I want to do is I want to punch a bell through there, and then what I'm going to reach for is a pencil, and just popping that down, I'm going to give myself a little bit of a pencil line just to see where that bell is. And that means when I stamp my next bell, which I'm going to see through a little window, and I'm just looking around here to get that lined up, trying to look through around the camera. It'll be in roughly the right place. So let's just test that and see, can we get that lined up? Yes, that's fine. Okay, so my next thing I want to do is to put a piece of window sheet on the back of this. So while I know that's the front, I'm going to flip it over and get a piece of window sheet. So here's some window sheet, otherwise known as acetate. You can stick this with Tombow glue, but just for a bit of speed in not waiting for it to dry today, I'm actually going to do that with a bit of snail. And that's going to be on the front piece there. And then this one here, which I've done on the inside, I'm going to take, this is our foam adhesive strips, which are of course perfect for doing shaker cards of any description. And I'm going to run this around the edge. And I'm not going to see any of this. This is all going to be hidden, but I want this to be fairly close, because that's inside there is where I'm putting my shaker pieces, and I want to make sure I've made a complete enclosure round there so my shaker bits won't escape. And these are the shaker elements I'm going to put in. How gorgeous are these? These are called mica flakes. Let me show you the gold ones. And they are really soft and just perfect for making shaker cards. You get all three colours and you get loads of them. So I'm going to put, whoops, a couple of, a little pinch of those in. Now my tip is, do it with a spoon, not with your fingers, because they will stick to your fingers and then they will be everywhere. And just to add a little bit of something, I've got rather too many are coming out at once here. I've got some, try and get the end of it here. I've got some sequins. Now these are not Melon Mambo, these are actually, I think they're Blushing Bride sequins, but just a few little sequins in there, just a little bit of pink as well. I'll pop in. Okay, super cute. So I'm going to peel that off there, and then take this piece, line that up, and then stick it down. Pretty. Now I'm going to take my one I punched earlier and punch that out. Now you can actually punch out the little piece here and thread ribbon through, but actually this is going to be hidden, so I'm not going to bother to do that. If you are doing that, my tip is take a little hand punch and actually punch this one before you punch this one. It makes it a lot easier to do. But today, as I say, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to be covering up the top of that anyway. So I'm going to put a couple of dimensionals on the back and pop this up. Now I think what I'm going to use is a piece of Melon Mambo baker's twine. My last one I used some gold ribbon, and we do a silver, but I don't have it in at the moment. That must be on my things to buy list. So just make a little bow with, and this is the thick baker's twine. And the easiest way to attach that little bow is with a glue dot. Pick up that little glue dot and pop that on. And just because you can never have too much bling, we will add, using the fine tip glue, we'll add a few sequins on there. There we go, lots and lots of sparkle. So a little bit of stamping is required on our card. So I'm going to use, I showed this the other day, the Father Christmas. You can use a topper and a bottom piece on the card. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to use the bottom piece for top and bottom. I'll show you what I mean. As this is the one without a greeting on it. I'll stamp that in the Melon Mambo. And then from the stamp set with the bells, which is called Seasonal Bells, I'm going to put the Happy Christmas. Now the thing to remember about seasonal bells is they really don't have to just be seasonal. You can be using these for weddings and for anniversaries throughout the year. I didn't mention actually the measurements of these little pieces here. This one was 3.5 by 2 3/4, and the white piece I used underneath was 3.25 by 2.5. I didn't mention that, I don't think. So that little piece just sits on here. Oh, I've taken one of my sequins off. Let's put that back on. That glue hadn't quite dried. It does take a moment to dry the fine tip glue, especially with something shiny like a sequin. But once it is on, it stays. It's strong enough to hold those sequins quite nicely. There you go. So non-traditional, and can I do the shaking bit for you? I love how the shaker cards work. They are quite magical, and having those little sequins in there along with the snow just makes that a beautiful Christmas card to my mind. So I hope you've enjoyed visiting Elizabeth's Craft Room today and seeing how to use one way of using the bell punch and the matching stamp set, Seasonal Bells. Visit me at Elizabeth's Craft Room if you would like to purchase that. I would be very grateful for your business if you do. Thanks for visiting today, and I look forward to welcoming you back again soon.